Shields up, Paladins, and welcome to an Overwatch Hero Guide. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'll be talking to you guys about Torbjorn and how I like to use this particular character. So Torbjorn is part of the damage role. He has 200 health and 50 armor. Now jumping right on into his abilities, his rivet gun has a primary and a secondary fire. The primary is an arching projectile type. The damage is 70 per shot. The projectile speed is 70 meters per second. The rate of fire is 0.6 seconds recovery, or a 1.67 shots per second. The ammo total is 18 shots. The reload time is 2 seconds, and you can get a headshot with this particular weapon. Now, his rivet gun automatically reloads if Torbjorn has his forge hammer equipped for 2 seconds, as well as the turret will target enemies hit by primary fire if within range and line of sight of his turrets. Now, his secondary for his rivet gun is a shotgun projectile. The damage is either 3.15 to 10.5 per pellet, or 31.5 to 105 per shot. Its fall off range is 10 to 20 meters. It's a constant. Spread angle is at 4.15 degrees. Projectile speed is 120 meters per second. Number of pellets is 10. Rate of fire is again 0.6 seconds recovery, or 1.67 shots per second. He has a total of 18 shots per ammo. His ammo usage on this is 3 per shot. Reload time is 2 seconds once again, and as well as you can get headshots in this particular mode. Going right on over to his forge hammer, it's a melee type. The damage is 55 damage. Healing is 50 per hit. Again, that only repairs his turrets. The max range is 2.5 meters, and the rate of fire is 1.2 swings per second. And you know you cannot get a headshot with this. So, Torbjorn also has a turret that he can deploy. Now, the turret is an arching projectile deploying the turret. And it's also a hit scan once the turret is actually up and fully operational. It's hit scan or auto aim. The turret has 250 health. The damage is 14 per round, or 56 per second. The projectile speed is 17 meters per second. The max range is 15 meters deploying the turrets, or 40 meters whenever it's in attack range. Rate of fire is 4 rounds per second. Casting time is 3 seconds. Duration is basically until it's destroyed. And cooldown is 5 seconds, 10 seconds if destroyed when in combat. And no, this turret cannot get headshots, but this turret can be thrown for a minimum of 15 meters on ground level. Turret automatically attacks the closest enemy when line of sight and continues attacking that enemy if it is either dead or out of sight. Target can change if the player damages said enemy with the rivet gun's primary fire. The turret can manually be destroyed by the interact key, which inflicts 10,000 damage to it regardless of distance. It cannot be done when the turret's building itself. So pretty much you can't throw it out, then boom, instantly pop it. You can't do that. So the turret cannot be redeployed if it dealt or received damage for the last 3 seconds. The deployed turret key will appear colored to indicate this. So if the turret is destroyed during this time, including by the interact key, deployed turret will go to a 10-second cooldown instead of the normal 5 seconds. His other ability that he has is called Overload. So his health is set to 100 plus 100 armor. His move speed has increased to 7.15 meters per second, or plus 30%. His rate of fire is plus 30%. It has a 5-second duration and a 12-second cooldown. This also does increase his reload speed by 30%. And finally, his ultimate ability, which is his Molten Core. So this is a arching projectile / aerial effect type. The damage, if it hits the actual person or the actual enemy that you're aiming at, it will do an impact of 25. The damage over time is 160 per second. The damage against armor, or damage over time against armor, is 250 per second. Projectile speed is 40 meters per second. Ammo is 10. Duration is 6 seconds casting time or until ammo is depleted. 10 seconds per magma pull. And charge required is 2,125 points. So Torbjorn passively generates 1% alt charge every 4.25 seconds. Each shot will bounce until it hits a floor, at which point it will turn into a small magma puddle that deals damage over time. If an enemy has armor while touching the pool, the enemy will take 250 damage per second until the armor is gone. Then the normal 160 damage is applied. And then damage does not stack with other pools, meaning it is better to cover a large area instead of smoking on a small place and wasting potential damage output. So the strategy that I use for basically Torbjorn is that he's a tooltip damage dealer, and most abilities being useful in zoning area. His rivet gun is a very dangerous weapon due to its high damage, but its main weakness is arching to the mid to long range, where that would be like using a Mei or a Widowmaker or a Hanzo. He has a very hard difficulty keeping to the mid for long range targets. The turret is his main tool for zoning areas. He can deploy it anywhere and let it automatically build itself to let him fight. Forge Hammer can be used to deal damage at close range or repair his turrets. Overload is an all power up to himself, giving him more maximum health and armor to enhance his offensive powers. Molten Core is a great area denial ultimate that can make the enemy to walk back before being burnt onto the high damage magma floor. Giving all these, he still has one major weakness. Other than Overload, he lacks all source of increasing his mobility when unable to deploy the turret to help him in a fight. His full power is greatly reduced in that particular aspect. Despite having the shortest model of all the heroes, he possesses one of the largest hitboxes of its class, making him very, 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 very vulnerable for a weapon with a large spread. He is best at zoning, but weaker when it comes to flanking as well as being aggressive. So really what you want to do with him is, as I just described there, is basically use him as zoning. You know, you want, in this particular case, hey, I don't want you to be on the payload, so I'm going to go ahead and put my turret up high, go down below, start pecking you with either the shotgun or his secondary fire on his rivet gun, or I'm going to try to stay close at a medium range as I can and try to get headshots until you get your Molten Core available to you, or your Molten Core plus your Overload. Then you can kind of go in, scare the team off the objective. Make sure you kind of get in there, do as much damage as you possibly can, because that will also help your team get in there and do everything that they need to do to help you out. Again, Torbjorn does a very, very good damage up close and personal. Even you can use his hammer if you're just in one of those moods of I'm just going to hammer you to death. You can be a miniature Reinhardt or a version of Brigitte if you really wanted to. But with all that being said, that's kind of the way that I use Torbjorn. Is I try to use him more as a zone, kind of almost like how Hamon's ultimate is. You kind of want to use that to make sure that the enemy has to stay back, where you can keep the objective just a tad bit longer to try to get you that upper hand in the advantage of keeping the objective, so you can win that round or win the game, either way you want to look at it. So with his turret placement, one of the things that I try to like to do is, if it's on a payload, I like to put it on top of it, even though it's a very typical place to put it, but it also has a great way of trying to stay on top of everything. People are trying to get to that with his primary fire. I can kind of help the turret to say, hey, focus this person down, this is the tank or this is the healer. I want to get this person out here as quick as I can. So with all that being said and done, that's how I like to play as Torbjorn. Hopefully I answered a lot of questions, comments, concerns. And as always, guys, thank you all for watching once again, and I will see you in the next video.